What's going on, Moving Meals? Moving Meals. What's going on?
Time for another review.
This is our spoiler review for... What is it?
Oh, X-Men Apocalypse. The movie.
Not the TV show. There's no TV show.
There's no TV show.
All right, you guys know how this works. We're going to talk about the positives, the negatives, and then we're going to wrap it up, give a score out of 10. And we have yet to hear much about each other's thoughts, so I'm excited to hear what you got to say. Why don't you go first? Because this ice cream, I don't want to become soup. Go.
All right. X-Men Apocalypse. It's entertaining, and it's a fun movie to watch, but I would not say it's as good as Days of Future Past, but I would definitely say it's better than X-Men The Last Stand. So it's like, it's not in the top 3 of the X-Men movies, but it's still fairly enjoyable. I was seeing all the reviews and a lot of the hate coming from this movie, and I can understand it to an extent.
It's not that much hate. It's in the 50s on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's still not good.
I mean, that's, out of 10 people, 5 kind of liked it on average. It's better than Batman v Superman, where out of 10 it was 2 people.
Fair enough.
So it's not great. It's okay. It's okay.
I just noticed some people hate on a lot more than others, and to an extent I can understand why, because the movie does have problems, but there's some good parts to the movie. And one of the good parts is some of the characters that got developed really well. Magneto and Professor X, for example. James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender killed it in those roles again. They had scenes where they had some depth to their characters added. They had a lot of emotional aspects added to these characters. I thought they were just well done, as per usual. The new Cyclops and the new Jean Grey, I really enjoyed. I really liked the new introduction of Cyclops, and I really liked how Jean Grey was portrayed in this movie to actually almost be like Jean Grey. I mean, seeing her as the Phoenix in a little bit of the movie was awesome to watch.
That was very cool.
I enjoyed that. And Oscar Isaac's portrayal of Apocalypse was really good. I don't know if the character was as well written as it should have.
Underutilized.
Yeah, for sure. But Oscar Isaac's portrayal of the character overall, though, was very good.
He was threatening, though. He was a threat. Like, you could feel how powerful he was.
Yeah, and that was from his acting, I thought.
Yeah, no, that all comes from him. But there's more I think he could have done a little bit. But
yeah.
Is that all your positives?
I thought Apocalypse's motivation throughout the movie made sense. It was true to the character.
It was a good way to do it with keeping the trueness of the character.
And I thought the writing was pretty good for despite the problems that the movie had overall, and especially one of the aspects I thought of the writing was the humor. It was a lot more funnier than I thought it was going to be, and I really enjoyed that.
The Professor X humor I really enjoyed, where him
that was
being
one of the
like just stumbling over his words from Moira and stuff. I thought was pretty good. Was that it?
Yeah, that was the top stuff.
Well, then since I agree with most of that, I'm going to go right to my favorite moment in the entire movie. Quicksilver! How can you not talk about Quicksilver if you're talking about the positives?
Because
Evan Peters kills it as Quicksilver.
Oh, absolutely. Evan Peters does a really good job. Yeah, I did like him.
It may have been a similar... I mean, it's very similar to the very first time we see him. So it was it's the same thing. It's him listening to music, but that's the character. That's what's so great. And there were still great moments in there on how powerful he really is to be able to move that fast. And, I mean, he walks, and when we first see him, everything slows down. And for a minute, I was like, what's going on? And then he walks in, and he's, like, eating a bagel or something. I'm like, oh, my gosh, it's Quicksilver. And he's just walking to him. He's walking. And it's so great. The dog with the pizza, all of it. And even when it blows up, and they're like, oh, where's Havoc? I'm pretty sure I got everyone. Like, I checked the whole house. Like, I loved him. I loved every scene he was in. I actually thought he stole. Him not saying Magneto's his dad, I thought was great. It didn't, I thought it's something we could use later down the line if Magneto comes back or if Fassbender comes back to portray him. But with all the stuff you said, I've loved the Quicksilver stuff. He, to me, is a shining a big shining moment in this movie that's okay. And it makes me really excited for the mutants going forward, because that's another big highlight is mutants. I think what is the kid's name who plays Cyclops? Because I really like him. Ty Sheridan. He did a really good job, and we saw more of him. I did like Phoenix. I did like Jean Grey, and I like Sophie Turner in that role. But she didn't do great this movie. I thought she did okay. I blame most of that on the writing and the directing, because there's a lot of scenes that I know were cut out already this movie that we've been hearing about. Some have been in the trailers. that are not in the movie at all, where there's more of her. We get to see a little bit more of her personality and a little bit more to her younger version of her character from what we've seen before.
Right.
So that's why I think she just did okay, but I'm really excited to see her moving forward because I really like her as an actress. The rest, I loved the young Nightcrawler. At first, I was like, I'm not sure how I feel about him, and then he really picked up, and I really liked him a lot moving forward. Magneto, I thought most of his stuff was good. Some of it I didn't think was good. But everything Professor X I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
Professor X and Quicksilver are the two real big highlights of this thing, and the action's great. It's great to look at. So yeah, those are most of my positives.
I agree. Going back to Quicksilver, I agree with you on what you're saying on Quicksilver. I like that he has an impact in the story. I like his portrayal of the character overall. The scene, while I thought it was a really good scene, it didn't really impact me that much because I kind of expected them to have another scene, kind of like what they did in Days of Future Past. Really good though, but it just didn't leave that much of a big impact on me for the movie.
I mean, I knew they were going to have it too, but like I didn't know when it was coming up, how they were going to do it, and that's what was so cool. And it was funny. I think the only time I really laughed out loud outside of a few Professor X lines. But expect more of that because I think we're going to be getting that more and more, especially with these younger mutants we're getting.
Since we almost forgot to talk about Nightcrawler, I forgot to talk about Alexandra's ship as Storm. I actually really liked her as Storm. I thought she could have used a little bit more scenes throughout the movie, but I like that she's in the X-Men. Oh yeah, for sure. She but I still liked her though, which is promising.
No, I did like her. I want to see. Same with Sophie Turner's Jean Grey. I want to see more moving forward. Yeah. She kills the accent better than ever. Halle Berry ever got close.
Yeah,
but the only reason she's in this movie is, and same with Olivia Munn's character, Psylocke. They only are in this because in the comics he has 4 horsemen and they need that. Yeah. Is the only reason she's in the movie. And I'm glad she lived because I hope we see more of her. And you could tell they cut around her. I heard a couple other critics talking about that too, and I completely agree, and I remember feeling it in the movie. They cut around her. You can tell that it's like, oh, she should talk, and then they don't. And they go somewhere else. And I don't know if that's maybe they didn't like her performance, but she's a good actress. I've seen Olivia Munn in other stuff, and she's pretty good, and I was excited to see her in this. Yeah. She was great in the fight scenes. The fight scenes were cool, but she was underutilized.
Is that heading to our negatives?
Yeah, let's transfer. That was one of my negatives. Is a lot of these characters were underutilized. I mean, I loved the the McAvoy stuff, Professor X. I did like a lot how they did the Apocalypse stuff. I liked the young kids. Wish we could I would have gotten a little bit more of them. My biggest negatives is they're little nitpicks. Like Magneto's really powerful, and in the final fight is him throwing just metal after metal pieces while Apocalypse just blocks it. That's the entire final fight, and it's like 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's not much of an impact.
It's not much of an
impact.
I wanted a big epic fight. Yeah, this is Apocalypse.
They also kind of shoved themselves into a corner too with Apocalypse. They made him so powerful. Like, I mean, he waves a hand and like guys just drop dead. And if you don't do that for these characters, though, when you're fighting against them, it's kind of like, well, it doesn't make much sense. I agree with you on what you're saying. Like, Magneto throwing stuff and him blocking isn't much of an epic fight, but it's also like you can't have him wave the hand and kill off so many characters like that. So they kind of, I felt like in the last half or the last quarter of the movie, kind of shoved themselves.
The fights are cool, but it doesn't. It falls apart. The coolest part is showing that how powerful Jean Grey is and the Phoenix, and just release all that that's what's really cool. Another negative of mine is, I must say it, a lot of the internet doesn't agree, and a lot of the internet does. Jennifer Lawrence does not deliver a performance in this movie.
Not really.
There's a few moments where it's like, I think she actually put emotion behind her words. Rest of it, none. There's none. She didn't want to be in this. She should have asked to get her. Like, it hurts me. And I've heard a couple other critics say this too online. This bothered me. I love her. She's an incredible actress. Yeah. If you're gonna be on set, give it your all anyway. Don't mail it in. You're not at the De Niro level yet where you're so old and you just want paychecks you can mail it in. Like, come on, Jennifer.
And that worries me as well, because in the end she comes back to the mansion and now she's teaching the X-Men how to fight, and it's like, well, are you gonna have her back, and is she gonna mail it in again, or?
No, I think they need. I think she's going to be recast.
Yeah.
I don't think she's coming. I actually could see McAvoy coming back. I could see Fassbender coming back, but I don't think it's as likely. I think Jennifer Lawrence is done with blockbusters for a while. I think she just wants to do indie films and she just wants to work.
Get that Oscar.
Her makeup looks
Oscar
bad.
Again.
It's not even makeup this time.
Yeah,
it's a leotard now.
I could tell that it was very different.
I saw an interview with her, and she goes, after however many years they've been doing these X-Men movies, some guy finally figured out that and she was like, literally said it like that. She's like, finally figured it out. You didn't have to do 8 hours of makeup, and you could wear a leotard, and it doesn't look as good. Rebecca Romijn is still the better Mystique, I think, and then Jennifer Lawrence is a better actress.
Yeah.
Like, it bugged me because she's so talented, and I love her so much in movies like Silver Linings Playbook, and many of her other films. Like, I just want, like, it hurts that she wasn't.
I could tell.
Wasn't good. It bothered me.
You're gonna be okay after the video? Like,
no, I'm gonna cry.
I agree with you. J-Law, not her best performance. I hope she figures that out. Hope that she just goes to maybe indie for a while and just tries to get some Oscar buzz. Maybe come back to a blockbuster later. Rose Byrne, terrific actress. Character was not needed.
Agree with you there.
In this movie at all. The Four Horsemen, you could easily tell that these characters were just chosen and just thrown in there. They didn't have any impact for the story at all, I thought. I was really disappointed, especially with Psylocke. I was looking forward to seeing that character in action.
Well, they kind of set it up, and then as soon as they get Magneto, the rest of them are just like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
They just stand there. Because Archangel was really cool, too. We never talked about him. He was really cool, and he's completely underutilized.
Yeah, it's just a whole lot of underutilizing characters, even though some characters got a lot of spotlight, which...
Archangel's dead, though. We don't get to see him anymore, which is going to suck, because everybody else is alive, and we might get to see them again.
That's true. And I thought there was also one unnecessary scene that led up to Wolverine's cameo. I think that if they didn't show the cameo in the trailers, it probably would have left more of an impact. But right when that scene starts and carries throughout the movie, I thought it was kind of just almost a little out of the blue and unnecessary. Maybe it's setting up for maybe the Wolverine movie, I'm sure. But for the most part, I thought it wasn't necessary. I thought they could have had that shortened.
See, I actually thought it worked really well. I thought that flowed really well into where they were at and having to have weapon.
Oh, really?
I thought it worked, actually. And I knew he was coming, but everybody knew he was coming, whether they showed him in the trailers or not. Everybody knew he was going to be in it. And it was... the only scene, I mean, there's some scenes where it's like, they didn't flow well, and I think that's a little bit of the editing and the director, but the thing I thought that was really dumb is when they win and McAvoy wakes up and she's like, do you know where you are? I'm on a beach. And they have like a moment. I don't care about the memories you took. Like, I don't. If you're going to give it back, wait till we cut and they're like at the mansion again and then give the memories back and have a moment between the two of them. Like, the rest of the characters are sitting there like...
Or just not have that character in the movie. I don't know. That sounds like a good idea to me.
That too.
I don't know. That scene to me just felt out of place for this specific movie. Maybe it's setting up for a Wolverine movie, which in that case,
did you feel it was out of place because of how violent it was? Because there was a lot of blood.
No, that might be one of my positives, actually. Like, I really enjoyed the Wolverine fight scene.
Yeah, I think that was to be like, hey, our rated R is coming.
But it's just like once the helicopters came and they were like, all right, you mutants come with us, and we'll get this movie going somewhere else now. Forget about Apocalypse for a bit. I'm just like, that's weird to me. Like, it needs to flow back to Apocalypse more, at least for me anyway. I just thought it was a weird transition.
I thought it worked because to me it felt like as Stryker is that type of character to really be watching them, and if something like intense like that happens and then the school blows up, to be like, those are my people. Like, he's so obsessed with them in that mansion and those group of characters. That's why I agree with it, because I liked Stryker as a character, and I could understand his motivation, and it was a cool way to. I mean, if Wolverine wasn't in this, I still think they would have gone somewhere with that. Like I don't think it would have all flowed that way. But I liked the Wolverine just slicing everybody with all this stuff.
Oh, no, that's really cool.
And the moment with Jean Grey was cool. I liked it, but it made me laugh a little bit, being like, hey, they're really, like, you could tell Hugh Jackman's, much older than her, and she's so young, and you're like, you guys are lovers in X-Men 1 and 2. Like, it's just kind of funny. But it was a cool moment because we got to see a little bit of why because she brought a few memories back for him, so that could kind of play into later on why he loves her so much. It's just because he remembers her giving that and that kind of stuff.
That's true.
You got any more negatives?
One more character underutilized, Jubilee. Bryan Singer, you've had Jubilee in in X-Men 1 and 2, and completely did not have her included in this movie. If you're gonna have her in the third movie, like, at least have her become specific in the movie. Just please. Like, I would love to see Jubilee in this movie. You literally had her in, like, the scenes where they're having Nightcrawler, like, go around and go into town with them and having fun. You might as well have kept her going throughout the movie. Like, it would have been cool. Like, this is 3 times you've done it now. Like, either have the character or don't.
I wouldn't even call it underutilized. I would call it just didn't use. Well, she doesn't do anything. She goes with them on their trip.
I'm just saying, if you have the character 3 different times in the X-Men universe and don't use her once, and you keep... Just have her in there or don't. Like,
I didn't care at all.
He teases us so much with Jubilee is ridiculous. I don't know. That's more of like a fan. That's more of a fan negative, I guess, than anything else.
It's not a deep nerdy comic fan, buddy.
Anyway, the point is that either have Jubilee in the movies or don't. Like, she'll
be in the new. She'll be in the newer ones.
Probably for the 5 minutes.
That's the point of showing. No, I think that's the point. I think it's to.
Then at least have her in this movie too. I don't know. It just bugged me.
Well, I know there are scenes that are cut out with the kids at the mall, so there would have been more of her there.
But even still, though, she wasn't going to play a part in the final battle, which is what I was hoping for. I was hoping for it to be Nightcrawler, Cyclops, and Jean Grey, and Jubilee, since they were all in the car and they were all going to hang out that day.
I think it worked fine. I don't care about Jubilee at all. And I know the character. I like the others more, so I was fine with it.
Anyway, I just think, like, if you're... Don't quit doing that. Just quit doing that. Have her in there or don't.
I still believe Bryan Singer has yet to make a bad X-Men movie.
No,
he has not made a bad X-Men movie yet. He's made an okay one.
This movie is
and fine. 3 great ones. Mm-hmm. So real quick before we give a score to 10, let's have a quick moment about that after credit scene.
It took me a while to remember what it was. You helped me out.
Yeah, we had to do a little bit of research. We're not that nerdy,
but it's gonna be good. I think this is gonna set up for Wolverine 3. I think Mr. Sinister is gonna, because the scene plays into Mr. Sinister becoming a villain at some point in the
probably
X-Men
for
universe.
Wolverine,
and I think it's gonna be for Wolverine. I think because he took the Weapon X formula at the Weapon X facility. It's gonna have Mr. Sinister create X-23, which is female Wolverine.
That would be such a cool fight.
I think they're gonna introduce her in the new Wolverine movie, and I think since this is Hugh Jackman's last movie to be Wolverine in, I think it's gonna introduce X-23. I think they're either gonna have her be in either the X-Men movies or maybe the X Factor or
fight,
New Mutants movies.
She gets
introduced into. Yep.
I hope if they do Miss Sinister, I hope the female Wolverine is the villain for Wolverine, and then you can move Mr. Sinister into the other X-Men movies as another bad guy, because you can't have Magneto in there much anymore, because you have to recast him or get Fassbender back, and that would be cool to kind of get a different villain. Mm-hmm. I liked it too. All right, score to 10. What do you got?
This X-Men movie is pretty good.
Yeah, like it's enjoyable.
It's not the worst one. It's definitely not the best one, but I think it continues the X-Men stories further. I liked what I saw when it came to characters. There's a lot of fan service in this movie as well.
It's a lot of underutilization.
Yeah, for sure, which is the negatives. Overall, I think I would give it a 7. I think a 7 is a safe number to rate this movie.
Well, we're tying again. 7 is what I'm giving it as well. It's a fun movie. It's fun seeing in the theater. It's got big spectacle. It's got big action sets, and that's nice to see. It does fall apart, and I think a little bit in the third act, and there are some really not good moments, like when she's walking up to Wolverine, and it's like, there's an animal in there. A beast. No, it's a human, but a beast. A killer. She did that for 3 minutes. She's walking. She just kept saying words like that. And I was like, oh my goodness, just release him already. I just want to see him kill people. There's some moments you're like, really, Bryan Singer? But it's fun. It's enjoyable. 7 out of 10. Go see X-Men Apocalypse this weekend or next weekend.
Or the weekend
after. Or weekend after. Or not at all. You don't have to. We're not in charge.
Do whatever.
Well, as always, Mother, thanks for watching. We'll see you later, movie meals.
Bye-bye.
And happy birthday, Adam.